Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it was a beautiful day of football. I want to talk about Breece Hall, so I'm going to keep this intro as brief as I possibly can. All I ask is go down there, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football, and let me know. I understand you play in a ton of fantasy football leagues. I play in a ton of fantasy leagues as well, but we all have our favorite league, whether that's the league with your high school friends, whether that's your highest stakes league. You know the main league I'm talking about, and please go down to the comment section. Let me know what is your record in your main fantasy football league, because if we have a lot of people down there commenting that they watch the videos and they're 0-6, I may need to find a new profession. And that should be it. One last thing, it would probably a disservice to you if I did not bring up that. Come on, we got free money out here. Go take the under on Courtland Sutton, 67.5 receiving yards. We rushed our props this week. Gonna be happy to take this under against our guy Sutton this Monday night. And of course, if you want to go check out any of these player props, there are a ton of them over there on Underdog Fantasy. When you sign up for Underdog and use promo code FLOCK with the link in the description of the video or in the comment section, they will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100 and available in damn near every single state. Go check out the link in the description. Deposit $10 with promo code FLOCK. Now let's go over to our first lesson learned, and that is Kenyan Drake may just be a league winner. Now, I'm going to be super brief with this because, of course, we need to dive in deep with Kenyan Drake in our waiver wire video coming out on Monday, so make sure you're subscribed. But with Drake, over 100 rushing yards, 10 carries. I mean, the man obviously has a history of being involved as a pass catcher as well. Now, you would naturally see this box score and go, crap. Well, it looks like J.K. Dobbins is now the backup. All that happened is Dobbins hurt his knee. But Dobbins came into this season with a very serious knee injury as well. So it's not that all that happened is J.K. Dobbins hurt his knee. I mean, now, hurting your knee if you're J.K. Dobbins is a pretty big deal. I will be updating y'all on Monday, diving a little bit deeper into Kenyan Drake. But I do owe everybody here a massive apology because Sunday morning, obviously, we had no Jonathan Taylor, no Naheem Hines slated to play in Indy. And I came through and I said, Deon Jackson may be a phony. Deon Jackson may not work out. There's so many different things that could happen. Maybe he splits the backfield with Philip Lindsay. Maybe this is a piss poor offense that got shut out by the Jacksonville Jaguars defense the last time that they played. So you know what? Deon Jackson, not someone I'm too interested in. Kind of split the backfield. No. Even though Lindsay had 27 snaps, you still had Deon Jackson with 12 carries, 42 rushing yards, and the rushing touchdown. Obviously, that's not great, but in a PPR format, Deon Jackson crushed 10 receptions, 79 receiving yards. So all I want to do is, obviously, there's not a massive lesson that can be learned from this outside of maybe I am just an idiot and you should not trust me. But maybe next time we have nobody else in the backfield to take touches away from an individual player. Even if we're worried about that player not being good, even if we are worried about maybe it being a bad off, it doesn't matter. You go through and you start them. Now, our next running back, we were going to talk about Breece Hall, but let's save that to the end. Let's go over instead. Let's look at Jamar Chase here. Sometimes studs are studs. We spent God knows how long. 2-3 weeks now telling people, do not panic. Calm down. Jamar Chase is freaking Jamar Chase. What the hell are you talking about? Why would you ever make that trade? Jamar Chase, 10 targets, 7 receptions, 132 receiving yards. I don't want to come out here and say, oh, we're so smart. We knew that Jamar Chase is good. Everybody knows that Jamar Chase is good. But if you have a stretch of 2 or 3 weeks where your stud first-round pick is disappointing when everything else attached to his profile says he's an elite-level guy, please, I urge you, do not panic. It's going to be fine. Remember, people were panicking on Justin Jefferson earlier this. Oh my gosh, yes. Sometimes your stud players are your stud players for a reason. You build around them, you play them every single week. They're the guys who win you your league. Now going over to one of those stud players that people were worrying about, George Kittle. Maybe George Kittle is not an offensive tackle. Maybe George Kittle actually can go out there and run some routes where you're looking at 60 potential snaps played for Kittle. He played 59. You're looking at 42 potential routes run for George Kittle. You're looking at 40. Involved every single play, involved every single passing down here in San Francisco. Of course, you'd be very excited about that. The end result was 10 targets 8 receptions and 83 receiving yards at the tight end position. And I don't know if I need to tell you this, but at tight end, if you come away with 4 points, you're doing just fine. If you get 4 points at your tight end position, you're going, oh my God, thank God I didn't get a 0. Oh, it's obviously we'd rather have a little bit more, but hell, 8 receptions, 83 receiving yards from George Kittle's about the best you can ask for a tight end not named Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews. Now going over to our next lesson learned, I don't know where I want to take this. Maybe the Green Bay Packers are just bad. I mean, I liked Aaron Jones coming into the season. I was saying, okay, well, it's a running back that's going to see a massive role as a pass catcher in an offense that has the back-to-back MVP at quarterback. And on top of this, we know Devontae Adams here. The role in the red zone is going to be massive. And going back to that, back-to-back MVP, we thought the Green Bay Packers offense was going to be great. Well, yet another week of the Green Bay Packers looking horrible. Yet another week of the running backs here giving you no production. Like, you can be in that committee. We talked about it all offseason. We said with A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, you could be fine drafting them as committee running backs because if they are the only guys getting touches in that backfield and they're playing in an elite level offense, if that pie is so massive that if they split it 50-50, there's still going to be more than enough going around. But that pie, this overall offensive volume, is so much smaller than I actually thought it was going to be that it is very difficult to know what to do with these Green Bay guys. Obviously, I still think you have to start Aaron Jones every week. I mean, Aaron Jones, I don't want to say he saved his day. It could have been a whole lot worse if he didn't have the 3 receptions, the 25 receiving yards. Now, what's interesting here is Randall Cobb going down. With Randall Cobb going down and also Christian Watson with a hamstring injury, I think that it makes it where Allen Lazard is almost a must-start guy at this point. I mean, if you're looking at no Cobb, no Christian Watson, Allen Lazard in a down game for the Green Bay Packers today went through. He had 9 targets. He had 4 receptions, 76 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. You can really like that volume. I mean, Romeo Doubs, y'all know I've talked a lot of crap about Romeo Doubs. Not necessarily the player, but just the fantasy football community got so damn excited. We were just saying to sell him high, but I got to give props to him as well because with Randall Cobb going down, with Christian Watson also dealing with his hamstring, Romeo Doubs, while he had a pretty bad day from a fantasy standpoint with only 4 receptions and 21 receiving yards, he did have 9 targets, which you do really like to see. And if we are trying to project this going forward, I think it's the Robert Tonyan, Allen Lazard, and Romeo Doubs show. I think Robert Tonyan is someone we can start every week at tight end. I think Allen Lazard is a borderline flex play. We're going to need to see more for Romeo Doubs. I don't know. It is so damn tough. But let's go over to our next lesson learned, and that is the Carolina Panthers are probably committing a crime against humanity. I mean, I don't know what they are doing here. How are they ruining this for us? They have one of the best players in the NFL. I mean, Christian McCaffrey going through 69 rushing yards. PJ Walker, 60 passing yards. Christian McCaffrey, 89 receiving yards. Christian McCaffrey, I saw this on Twitter, tweeted out by a very smart gentleman. I mean, he looked really handsome too in his profile pic. Week 6 total yards. Christian McCaffrey, 158. All other Panthers, 54. Now, of course, I am way too young to remember Barry Sanders in Detroit. Like, I wish I could go through and remember that. I wish I was 15, 16, whatever that was happening. But I'm imagining this is similar. Of course, I'm speaking out of my ass here because I wasn't there. Please let me know in the comment section. This is just disgusting. And, I mean, before you go to sleep, send up a prayer that Christian McCaffrey wakes up next Sunday in either Kansas City, in Buffalo, in Los Angeles, anywhere but Carolina. Now going over to our next guy, Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker. Oh, dear God. My second most drafted running back on Underdog. On Underdog, we drafted over 700 teams this offseason. Jacobs, my most drafted guy because we were getting him in round 7. Kenneth Walker, when he has fallen into the double-digit rounds, my second most drafted running back, could not be more excited. Walker, 21 carries, 97 rushing yards, a rushing touchdown. Also somewhat getting involved as a pass catcher as well. He had 3 targets. I mean, DJ Dallas only had 2 carries. I thought that Kenneth Walker wasn't going to be really involved as a third down running back. I'm surprised to see the lack of involvement for other running backs in this backfield. I mean, Kenneth Walker looks like a full-blown league winner. Going back to what we said all last week, I mean, guys, at the end of the day, Geno Smith is Geno Smith. I know you wanted to hate me for saying to sell high on Geno Smith last week. 2 weeks ago, you wanted to hate me for saying to sell high on Jared Goff. 4 weeks ago, you wanted to hate me to sell high, saying to sell high on Carson Wentz. I mean, it's kind of funny because now when I say this out loud, everybody's going to go, oh, Mason, nobody was hating on you for all that. I mean, obviously. At the time, people thought those quarterbacks were going to be something this season. I mean, people have such a short-term memory. I still want to stand by the fact that, hell, DK Metcalf's probably a pretty good sell-high candidate. I don't know what you can get now. Geno Smith is still Geno Smith. Don't get fooled by a 3-week stretch where he goes up against some very soft defenses in the middle of the year. But hell, Kenneth Walker looks like he's the starting running back in Seattle. Looks like he's going to be a lock for getting close to 17 touches a week. And we talked about it a lot this offseason. One of the reasons we were drafting him over and over again, besides the Rashad Penny injury history, is because the athletic profile he had coming into the NFL. Now let's go over to our next lesson learned. So our number one breakout running back, our number one buy low running back a week ago, because we are no longer allowed to include Breece Hall in the buy low videos. Travis Etienne continues to look very good. With Etienne, kind of splits the backfield here with James Robinson. Frustrated to see JaMycal Hasty get involved as well. Like, why the hell are we giving JaMycal Hasty 10 snaps in this backfield? Etienne gets 29 snaps compared to James Robinson at 27. But Etienne looks like the better running back. I think anybody who watched the game, anybody who watched a second of this, we can agree. You look at the efficiency of both running backs so far this season. You look at how they look on the football field. Etienne looks like the guy. I would not be surprised if Etienne continues to get involved more and more in Jacksonville. I honestly thought Jacksonville would be a little bit better this week. I thought that you were going to have a bounce back spot for Trevor Lawrence in this entire offense, where you only had 165 passing yards, but obviously great team running the football here, 243 rushing yards. The majority of those coming from Travis Etienne. I don't know. I still want to stand by, like we were saying at the very beginning of this season, that the Breece Hall breakout was imminent. I think, honestly, maybe the same thing's happening here with Travis Etienne as well. The man's only played 6 NFL games. Now, before we get to the most important lesson learned, let's go over and let's just flex. Breece Hall, look at him. Look at the man coming through. 20 carries, 116 rushing yards, rushing touchdown as well. You had more rushing yards for Breece Hall this week than passing yards for the entire offense. You had more rushing yards from Breece Hall than passing yards from Zach Wilson. I could not be more excited. Breece Hall is literally putting this Jets team on his back and just running the team to these victories. I mean, he's taking our fantasy football teams to victories. I'm assuming, like I said at the beginning of the video, go to the comment section. Please let me know what your record is in your main fantasy football league this year. I mean, last time we asked this last week, we had some phenomenal records, and we had a lot of people saying it was because they had Breece Hall. But now, the most important lesson learned, I really want to hammer this in. This is something that I think I have made a mistake on. Some offenses in fantasy, you cannot start a single player at the wide receiver position. Offenses like Chicago, Washington, Carolina. I mean, I didn't really like anybody in Chicago or Washington coming into the year, but we did like DJ Moore. I mean, these offenses that are just absolute dog waters, absolute garbage. It doesn't matter what you think of the receiver in said offense. It doesn't matter if you love Drake London. It doesn't matter if you love DJ Moore. It doesn't matter if you love Terry McLaurin. It doesn't matter if you love Darnell Mooney. When the passing volume is so limited, the floor is going to be rock bottom, and the ceiling at the same time is going to be severely capped. So why the hell are we going to go through and play a guy like that? I mean, just going and looking at DJ Moore versus Juju Smith-Schuster. You move DJ Moore over to Kansas City. Dear God, DJ Moore probably has 100 receiving yards a game. DJ Moore is so much better than Juju. But at the end of the day, if you're playing with Mahomes, even if you're a worse receiver, you're still probably a more intriguing guy to put in the starting lineup. just because, hell, you're the guy that's in the offense with the quarterback. They'll actually be able to move the ball down the field. So I don't know. I think that these horrendous offenses, we just have to put massive X where I don't even want to include a single Washington receiver in our top 30 wide receiver rankings rest of season. Same thing Carolina, same thing Chicago. You can probably extend this list to a few other teams. But I think that's all I have for this video. Of course, thank you so much for hanging out with us. I hope you had a great week. Please go to the comment section. Let me know what your record is in your main fantasy football league. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. And because we are on that hot streak with our prop bets, go over to the link in the comment section, the link in the description. Go take the under on Courtland Sutton, 67.5 receiving yards. I got a feeling, I don't know, maybe I'm a Sutton hater, but have you freaking seen Russell Wilson this year? Have you seen Wilson? That's all I got for you. Thank you again. I do appreciate you. Hope you had a great Sunday, and I'll be good to see you in the live stream Monday night.